Hey, this is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid!
Hello, welcome to another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin and the Professor Russ Stevens. Well, boys, we have another great show for you tonight, so let's get it started. We start with the Boston Celtics, and first of all, before anybody was watching the Summer League, now it's the hot thing now, right? Okay, it's
Sure.
hip. Russell Stevens was watching the Summer League,
yeah.
and there was nobody else.
They used to play summer league games at UMass Boston.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, they played them there.
Yeah.
They would televise them on whatever CSN
on
was
Big
called,
TV.
right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, isn't it great though?
It's now all of a sudden become
a thing.
It's actually seems to be more interesting than most of the regular season in the NBA, Joe.
Oh, well, there's more interesting characters now. Taco Fall and...
But just we seem to, because, the NBA is 24/7,
Right.
365 days a year, we seem to know more of the young player, the rookies.
Totally. The coverage of the draft gives you, visibility into who's playing, but then the summer league has become sort of the NBA's greatest conference. So you have you have LeBron James showing up at
the Futures League.
Summer League
I
games.
know.
So it's like the Emmy Awards for
Beyonce
3
will be
weeks,
there soon.
right?
I
No,
know,
seriously,
it's
and
true.
it goes on for like 2 weeks. So there's plenty of guys coming in and out of it.
especially in Vegas.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Great venue.
And of course, nobody is saying anything else in the Boston Celtics except for the guy they didn't even draft, but 1'7" 6" tall, 7'7" with his shoes on. They mentioned Taco Fall. Well, this breaking news from the Grandstanders Live desk: Yabusele,
whatever
his
he's called.
freaking name is, the guy with the fattest
Brookline
ass
Zone.
in the history of sports,
Not good.
and that's including the NFL, has been cut.
Oh, is that right?
He has been
Yeah.
put on
Yeah.
waivers.
Oh, that's breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news,
Breaking
of course.
news.
Grandstanders Live,
love
which
it.
means clearly, Joe,
Him and Thornburg in the same day.
that's paving the way for Taco.
Hopefully.
To get a contract.
Oh, yeah. I know they were talking contract with Carson Edwards already, so they must be very
He's
happy
already
with
on
him.
the roster. They needed the Celtics had a 15-man roster
Yeah.
until they cut
Yabusele, yeah.
Right, so that opens up a spot,
A guaranteed
maybe
spot.
a guaranteed spot, because they already have 2 guys signed to 2-way contracts.
Yeah.
Well, I still think that Danny's going to pull the trigger on another deal for another
really?
large guy.
Yeah, but look, Russ, there's
I
not
agree.
a chance after all this.
I totally agree.
He can't go into
All
the
this
season with that
publicity
team.
with Taco, all the enthusiasm,
Yeah.
the Celtics fans are now turning the
Sure.
page with this guy. There's no way you could let him go
I
to the open market.
I hope. I mean, I totally believe that, and I actually hope that's the case. I hope it's for Taco.
Because at the very least, Joe, out of bounds plays this year, right? When you have a guy.
He can stand there with his hands above the rim and go.
Look, he's obviously a sort of freakishly tall, but I was saying to Joe earlier, he seems relatively proportional for his size. He gets up and down the court. He doesn't look out of place. I thought he was going to be a complete disaster.
Not that we have anybody to compare him to.
There's
except
nobody to
Manute
compare him
Bol.
to.
Yeah.
Manute Bol.
1, 2, 7'6" guys look like
Yeah.
maybe there's a drawing.
And my favorite thing
But
about him,
he's like Russ is saying, he's filled out.
proportional. My favorite thing about him, he's as smart as hell, by the way. He wants to be a computer programmer, a computer science degree. Like, this is like a real, fully formed person.
But would you guys agree that, of course, Time Lord Williams, though we have a lot of enthusiasm
Yeah.
for him, Joe, for the future. But when you take into account what he could contribute compared to what Taco might be able to contribute first year, there's maybe things that Stevens could use with Taco that he could not have used with Robert Williams.
Oh, yeah, but, we have a collection of guys that are maybe 10 minutes guys, like
right.
Taco.
Well, he's not even a 10-minute
Maybe
guy,
not,
no.
but
No,
with
he's a novelty
He's a Maine
act, right?
lobster claw is what he is.
But he's a novelty
Yeah,
act
he's
as
a
far as
novelty.
the
But the
game.
Williamses and Tice, they're all 10-minute guys.
That's right.
We need a guy that they can spell.
See, I think they're going to start the season with those guys, and they're going to see what they have. And at the deadline, he will start packaging up these contracts, and he'll deal somebody for a more legitimate starting big man.
Well, nobody's had a better win streak in Boston right now. And, of course, our teams, the Bruins lost the Stanley Cup. Nobody's had a better win streak than I. There's no
my
question.
God.
Let's
Really
talk
gonna
about
start with
this
this?
now. You guys didn't even mention
You're gonna hurt
we
your
are-
arm
we're
patting
7
yourself on
minutes
the
in-
back.
we're 5 minutes in the show, and who's been talking about Enos Kanter and the Celtics
have.
acquiring him for over a year?
It was a fixation.
Fix it.
Yeah, and
You
Dan-
walk around mumbling Enos, which was a little concerning.
All right, I don't know if it was a fixation.
Well, maybe Dan-
That's weird. That's strange. But
well, maybe Danny should have listened to you, because remember the buffoon did nothing.
Right,
at the trade
Joe,
deadline.
yes, Joe. Enos Kanter should have been on this team
should have
in the midseason.
Yeah, but
I
we were
give you
afraid Turkish agents were going to kill him.
He, by the way, doesn't have a passport, so he couldn't play in Toronto tomorrow.
Oh, is that right?
Doesn't
Really?
Because Turkey withdrew his passport.
Because what?
Oh, he's going right after the president. He can't show up in Turkey. He's a dead man walking.
Yeah.
All right,
Isn't
well,
there like a
there'll be
a
no
life
games in
sentence
Turkey,
on-
but he's your starting center
Yes,
game
yes.
one.
And by the way, if he does well enough, then Danny won't need to make a trade. But he's being very smart. He's collecting guys, and he's going to see they're going to compete with each other.
Look, Al Horford was a huge loss. You're not going to replace him with
Especially when
another
we got
Al
nothing
Horford
for
right now.
return.
But Enos Kanter was a good replacement for this year. When we go to the break, we're going to continue more with the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I give you credit for.
So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
It's the second round
God.
pick. He does remind me. You don't have to tell me of Eddie House.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay.
He's absolutely Eddie House. He may be an upgrade. You don't know, but House was a
He
huge
was a
contributor
great
for the
helped us win a
Celtics. team.
championship. Absolutely. Joe said, look, he's got IT qualities. He's
That
small,
catch
but
and
he's
shoot.
strong, right?
Yeah,
He's got
much
great
bigger.
body
He's
control.
much stronger than Isaiah.
He can,
is.
but he can get to the rim. He can
Yeah.
create leverage for a shot, and that guy will put it up from anywhere in the court.
Oh, he has no conscience.
Yeah,
Right?
he's not afraid, but he is a good shooter. In the NBA
Very good
3-point line hasn't hurt him.
No,
Not
but
at
the
all.
thing, Joe, is in the NBA on a regular season game in January, he's going to be able to get open shots.
Oh yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
where they're trying to
when
press
they're all
the summer
playing
league, so
Olay.
they're in his face. But come January, Rents, they're not going to anyone.
They're going to have. He's going to have to run off picks. It's going to be very interesting. By the way, if nothing else, he's the guy we're watching this year instead of Terry Rozier. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
massive upgrade. The enjoyment upgrade alone of watching Carson Edwards come into game, little 6'1" guy
Who's happy to be there instead of a
as
scout.
opposed to watching Terry Rozier sulk around the court for 10
Yeah.
minutes.
But he's the guy, potentially, and of course we don't know what happens with Carson Edwards in the regular season.
Right.
But we needed a gunner in
Yes.
the second unit coming off the bench
Yeah.
who can score 10 points in 3 minutes, right?
Yeah,
100%.
we don't have Marcus Morris anymore to give us that offense in the second unit either.
He's exactly what we needed for that second unit.
Okay, so we have Williams. Okay, well, just tough guy, undersized but a tough guy.
Do you know that
we got
he-
Carson Edwards? We
Yeah.
got Waters.
That's right.
The second round pick. It looks like one Romeo Langford, the top number one pick of the Celtics, going to be redshirted this year. It feels like.
Might be, and that's fine if they can teach him how to, improve his shot over the course of the year. Maybe get something out of him in the second half, play some defense.
Or maybe it's like Yabusele was the top pick of his
Yeah,
year.
this guy's different. Look, I think at the end of the day, you guys probably talked about it last week. Langford's really Jaylen Brown insurance. He's your replacement.
Yeah,
for
I
Jaylen
agree.
Brown.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't want to go down that road now. But yeah.
That's probably that. So they'll redshirt him if they get something out of him late in the year, but really going into next year if they don't re-sign.
Like I
Jaylen.
said, there's another move coming, and you got to give up something to get something.
That's right.
And the move is Grandpa Gordon Hayward. The fact
Oh,
is
no,
that,
you can't get rid of him.
Look, they're banking the future on Tatum and Brown, right? The premise that they're going to take this a step up. And I think, would you agree that Tatum has more upside as far as potential talent in the NBA than Jaylen Brown does?
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I'll agree with that.
But Joe, would you say that Jaylen Brown was a better player than Tatum was this year?
Last year, he definitely was.
Second half of the year for sure.
All right, so Hayward, if Hayward cannot coexist with those two players, if they don't think personality-wise and the schemes that Brad Stevens wants, could Danny pull the trigger and get rid of Hayward?
Not before the beginning of the year. I don't
No one will
disagree.
take him.
I don't disagree with you that
I don't know about that,
No,
Joe.
no. Here, right now, Joe said it. If you wanted to trade Hayward, you would have to include a first-round pick to move the contract. You are moving him at the lowest possible point of value. The best thing that can happen is Hayward goes out and plays 30 decent games and gets you to the trade deadline, and now all of a sudden you've got a borderline expiring
I'm buying.
contract.
I'm buying
That's
this.
when Danny will move Hayward.
But so you're saying that there would be sellers at the trading deadline?
It depends. If he's playing really well and the team is gelling, then you don't have a problem. But
you're
if
not gonna
You
do
got to
that.
pump him before you
he's gotta
dump him.
rebuild his value. Otherwise, you're paying somebody to take him. Why would you do that if you're Ainge?
Yeah, you'd have to pay somebody
You'd
to
have
take
to give
him
up
now.
a first-round pick to move that contract.
Unless you took Andre Drummond.
Oh,
Right, look,
Your head
I'm
is
so
exploding.
hot right now. I can't be wrong. The Celtics, if they trade Grandpa, will be for Andre Drummond, and then you don't have a center
you
problem.
know how hot you are? You've got one in a row,
Yeah.
That's not
which
true.
is hot for you.
That's not true.
One in a row.
Oh no, he just had the Grant Williams draft.
Yeah, I picked
pick.
Grant Williams, who's going to be a nice player. Grant
sure-
Williams
No, I don't
and
think so.
Marcus. Grant Williams and Marcus Smart
he's
on the
terrific.
court.
Look, by the way, did you know that Grant Williams graded out at 98th percentile in strength level, not of rookies, but of all players in the NBA who've taken that
Oh,
same
nice.
strength test over the last 10 years?
Well, yeah, he's definitely strong. No, he's going to play a role. And people said like Brandon Bass. No,
he'd
this
be
guy.
better than
What did you guys think about Avery Bradley? He went to the Lakers for short money.
He's got nothing left.
Oh,
Nothing
short
left.
money. I thought, my God, I can't believe that.
$4.5 million each. Kelly
I thought it was
Olynyk is
$4.5 million. I
three
thought it was like lira. I
Yeah,
mean, forgetting about U.S. dollars.
Yeah.
Avery Bradley. What are you going to get rest
I'm
from
totally
Avery
with
Bradley
you.
at this
Yeah,
point?
Not much.
It's only because Doc Rivers loves his former players and wants to make sure they're taken care
No, he
of.
went to the Lakers.
Yeah, he went
Oh,
to-
right.
that was
Oh,
a
okay.
good
All
one,
right.
But same thing. He's
yeah.
not going to get much.
Yeah, that's bizarre. All right, boys. LeBron going into his 17th year. This is not Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
He wants to be the point guard.
The historical perspective, now they're making him the point guard because basically they've watched the tape of last year and they realize LeBron is pretty much washed.
Oh, I don't think he's washed, but he's on the downward incline.
Yeah, there's nobody historically, Joe, right, that at that age and in 17 years in the league that would continue at that pace.
But playing that position will burn him out. That takes a lot of energy, bringing the ball up, distributing the ball.
Yeah, I think there's two schools of thought. That also gets him out of all the banging down low.
Right.
And that's that when you're 30 something years old and you're just getting the crud beat out of you down low every night, that's no fun either.
But has Tom Brady set the bar, Joe, for older superstar athletes now that they think they can play
Oh, they're
forever?
all dying to be like him.
Well, but remember, like in the thing, but he's protected now. He's like an endangered species. He's got so many protections on him. Brady does.
They changed
Yeah,
the
right.
rules so
That's the
much. Yeah.
change.
It's
That's the
different. You can't
difference,
do
I
that in
know.
the NBA. You get the
No.
snot kicked out of you every night in the NBA.
You have to play.
Well, won't
right?
that be
That's
Anthony
exactly-
Davis's job on the Lakers to get?
Oh, I don't know. We'll
He's
talk
not
about
an
Anthony
enforcer.
Davis. But just a couple notes. Daniel Tice, surprisingly, is back.
That
I
was a
thought that he
surprise.
was going out the
That was
door,
a
right?
surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if his knee is better and he could play more like he did the first year, it'd be great.
Yeah, great point. He was a disappointment, Joe, the second
Oh, we
year.
kept waiting for him to come back, and he
Yeah.
kept nothing.
And my guy,
Oh,
the
God.
guy who played with me in my court 11 months ago,
He's back.
Brad Wanamaker. I told you, he contributed every time he was on the court.
But I still think they're looking for a backup point guard that's a little better than him.
No, look, don't.
They can look around all they want. They got nothing to offer at this
No,
point.
they
Yeah.
don't. All right, when we go to the break, we're going to go to the World Series champion Boston Red Sox. I'm going to keep on saying that until they're not.
So didn't Brad Wanamaker miss every?
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. and finally feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We talk more about him than about.
Okay, we go to the All-Star break. The Red Sox at 49-41, and after taking account the way this season started, Russ,
Could be a lot worse.
49 actually
Feels like
looks
a
pretty
moral
good.
victory, doesn't it?
Yeah, so 9 games out of first place. I just had to say that joke because we're not catching the
You're not
Yankees
catching.
in any.
And that was because we had a nice little flourish at the end, just before sweeping the
Well,
Tigers.
it's going to be a knife fight for that second or the 2 wild card positions. There's like 5 teams in it.
People don't understand that you have a bad week now. You could be out of the wild card race. It's still not a reach at July 10th to say that come 2 weeks from now, Russ, the Red Sox could be sellers.
If they play the Dodgers right off the bat. You could imagine losing the 3 games to the Dodgers. You lose 8 out of 10, and you could be 5 games behind in the wild card race.
Yeah, at the very least, Joe, you go 6-8 in the next 2 weeks. I think that you're a seller.
Just like they started the season 3-11, maybe they'll start after the break
But
like that.
here's the thing about this team, though. Would you also not be surprised if they won 13 out of 15?
No,
They could do that.
no, absolutely. But still, no matter what, we're staring at 1 game.
I think they got a bad stretch coming up where it's all Yankees and Tampa.
Yeah.
And it's going to be real tough, and that'll be the make or break point.
I think that's right.
I know that. Look, I'm not shocking anyone by saying this, but I truly believe if there's a 1-game playoff right now, Chris Sale is not pitching, but David
think
Price
it's David
is.
Price?
Yeah.
Right
and
now,
he deserves it.
He does.
You know,
I absolutely believe that.
I mean, so biggest surprise of the first half, Joe?
Oh, the starting pitching being garbage.
Well, that's a surprise. I said positive way, but
Positive. Rafael Devers.
Devers,
I'm surprised at just how good Xander has played. I mean, he's taken a step. He signed that big contract, and he took another step up into that contract.
Like a captaincy type role he's taking.
Impressed with him.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. And all you have to do is look at him physically, Joe, to realize he's a guy that we thought would just get bigger and stronger. And you look at him, and he's huge. He's absolutely huge. But Michael Chavis.
And by the way, there's another. And we pounded him on this panel over the last few. Vasquez has, 13, 14 home runs?
Look, I know, and this is Grandstanders Live breaking news. Sandy Leone is urinating for Christian Vasquez. They can't tell the difference in Major League Baseball.
Yeah. With the mask on, they can't tell.
Have you seen the bombs that Christian Vasquez
I
is
think it
hitting?
has something to do with the ball.
450.
One way or another, it has a lot to do with
He's
the ball.
hitting
450-foot home runs.
opposite field.
Yeah.
We said beginning at the beginning of the year. Remember the early up at bats of Christian Vasquez. Will he ever get another hit in the major leagues?
13 home runs.
Now he's staring at 20+ home runs.
Yeah.
He statistically is up there with Mike Trout for like the last 2 months.
Crazy. So he's got to be surprised. But
His catches ERA is way down
this
this
year.
year.
Is really surprised by it. Yeah.
You said that, not me.
Yeah.
I didn't say it directly. All right, the All-Star game. The Boston Red Sox have the best record in the history of the Red Sox last year. And then the following year, they don't have one pitcher make the All-Star game.
Yeah, that's big.
None deserved it
Well, it
either.
shows points. The reason why they're ultimately 49-41 is, we can blame the bullpen, and the bullpen has been abysmal, but that starting pitching has been.
And you say,
huge
Price is good. Price hasn't even made it 6 innings all year.
No, Price is the least of our problems.
Yeah, but
I don't know
he's still
How do you
garbage.
get to David Price and the criticism?
Well, how many quality starts has David Price had
David
this
Price
year?
has been the best starting pitcher for the Boston
Yes, he
Red
has.
Sox.
You're right.
So I don't even want.
But how many quality starts?
I'm not going to talk to that, but that's ridiculous. I mean,
One quality
start with
start
Rick
all year.
Porcello, $22 million
he's
a
awful.
year. Rick Porcello, and for all his phony toughness, and he's always been a phony tough guy. I never bought that.
We've been
crap
trying to
for
trade him
1 minute.
forever.
That guy spends every other season laying down.
He says really nice things about you, though.
That start.
He's right, though.
That
It's
start
every
in
other-
London
He was-
against the
guys,
Yankees
he was-
he
He pitched tough last year. He pitched tough. His problem is every other year he's garbage. I mean, you called it. I don't think it's. And for whatever reason, I
called
don't
that
know.
too.
For whatever reason, I don't know, but every other year is garbage.
Okay, so look, best case scenario, we go a one game playoff. Okay, the wild card.
Yeah.
All right. Now there's rumors that we may acquire Zach Wheeler from the Mets and stuff. Are we going to give up whatever prospects we have, Joe, for the sake of one game?
No, I don't think we should. I'm still on the idea. My idea is to be a seller here at this. We can afford to get rid of Porcello. We can afford to get rid of one of the outfielders if we're going to get a good enough return. I'm not saying not saying trade to make a trade. I'm saying let's try to make this team better.
Mitch Moreland could be a great guy to trade, and there wouldn't
Sure,
be
I
too
mean,
much
there have been a few teams over the past 5 or 6 years who've sold and gotten better, right? So
Yeah.
is there a way to sell, get better? The way to sell and get better is to trade one of the bigger contracts, a more core player, and get some relief help,
right
with the salary, the salary flexibility that you gain.
And when you're talking about starting pitching, you generally, from the American League, you like to send them to the National League because they're
Right.
usually, obviously
Not
it's a
the
weaker
other
league
way.
hitting
Now,
wise,
the counterpoint to Joe's argument on, or to your question about do we do this just to get into a one-game playoff, you win a one-game playoff. Remember, what happens in the playoffs now is a bunch of our starters become relievers, right? Which we've been saying all along. So if you can find 3 decent starters out of 5, you gain 2 relievers out of that.
Yeah, and that's a great point because the fact is the Red Sox are a much better away team than they are at home. So we're not afraid to go a 7-game series, Joe, when we don't have their home.
But I
field
think
advantage.
teams like Boone, if the Yankees was just such a moron last year, he's going to start doing the same thing. They're all going to take after. I think it was Francona was the one.
Oh, it's going to be a
first started doing that.
inning game at the
Yeah,
at the very
everyone
It's not
does
gonna
2 or
look like
3
baseball.
innings,
Yeah.
and that'll make it a little tougher on the Red Sox in and of itself.
Well,
there
that's
too.
a great point, Joe. And look, Cashman, the fact is he stacked up the relief corps
Oh yeah,
with
I
the
think
idea that we're going to the bullpen in the 4th or 5th inning.
Yeah.
All right, don't worry about. Oh, we're almost going to the break, but don't worry about J.D. Martinez opting out. Not a chance. When we get back from the break, we're going to continue with the Celtics, and then we're going to touch the Bruins and Patriots too.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
The Daniel Navis. Hey, Gabe Kapler's.
Look, Stephen Wright. We're actually clearing the house right now. I didn't even mention Tyler Thornburg. This breaking news from the Grandstanders live desk. Finally, he was put out on
Put out to
waivers.
pasture.
Yep.
And you consider him in the James Young
He
type
is
category,
the
right?
biggest waste of flesh in Boston sports history.
Including the next guy I'm
Young.
talking
Including
about.
James Young?
Including James Young and Yabusele.
Yabusele, you got that
And this guy, Stephen Wright. So the Red Sox
Send
were
him to
just-
Santa Anita too.
We're waiting for they were waiting outside the prison gates for him to come out, right? They had their fancy outfit on, right? Plenty of cleavage, and immediately put Stephen Wright into a game, and he's as bad as ever.
Yeah, he's done. He's done. Once he hurt his knee, he just couldn't pitch like he did
Yeah,
before.
even as a knuckleballer, you still have to have your
Isn't he
mechanics.
still like 30? He's the oldest looking 30 something that I've ever seen in
I
my
don't
entire
know.
life.
Since that Odom
Yeah.
kid was drafted
He has
number
the
one.
body of a 60-year-old man.
He's
and
older than
he's
Tony
playing
Foster,
baseball,
right?
right?
Yeah.
I know. He's
Wait, right.
getting a paycheck.
And
He's
you know
going to
how
get a pension.
You know,
I think Tim Wakefield vouches for him or something.
you know how I feel about knuckleballs. You got to always have one on the staff, but not that one.
Not
Yeah.
that one. All right, we're going to go to the Bruins. I was surprised. We talked about Marcus Johansson, and what a great playoff he had with the Bruins.
Terrific. He's the best
And
player on the ice.
You had mentioned Joe. I remember you said $7-8 million guy. We didn't think it was that much, but he signed 2 years, $9 million with the Sabres. Felt like the Bruins could have handled that.
I don't know. I think they put priority on Carlo and McAvoy.
The thing about it is, what I don't understand is why, and you're starting to see this in the NHL, why don't you see things in the NHL like we see in the NBA, which is trade Backus in a draft pick to get someone to take his contract, because the reason why you couldn't sign Johansson was because Backus is making $6 million a year.
Well, you would
trade enough, get rid of that
But
contract.
Toronto had to put in a first-round pick to get them to take
Don't
Marvel.
you? But do you think that Johansson
Johansson
for 4 years at 4.5 a year to me is worth a first-round draft pick?
Absolutely. Weren't you shocked by the
Your
4.5?
Your first-round draft pick is getting 28.
I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Absolutely. Look, the Bruins make
Right?
again another offseason. Bruins really don't make any big splashes, and if you want to get over,
Yeah,
the
they
hump,
got a lot of journeymen. They added.
Yeah, when they start telling about the guys they got for the AHL, woo, what they do? That's like the Red Sox say, look at the guys we got for Pawtucket.
For the Spinners.
Yeah, right. You know, all right, go to the Patriots, and training camp starts on July 25th. I'll say this, Joe. If
2 weeks.
If the Red Sox don't get their acting gear, does the Red Sox season end July 25th?
If they're not doing well, you'll see the attendance drop radically.
By the way, you misspoke. It's the world champion New England Patriots.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. The world.
We have a
champion.
couple of
I
world
still can't
champions
believe they
competing
won.
now.
All right, like I've been saying, because I'm so hot, I told you by August 1st, that there would be a Rob Gronkowski is working out in football-related workouts. And God knows he's playing catch.
He's
with
playing
Tom
catch.
in Los Angeles. He doesn't live in Los Angeles with
He's
Tom
trying
Brady.
to work there, though.
With Tom Brady in a formal workout.
See,
Seriously.
I beg to disagree. I think this is all about keeping his brand fresh and relevant.
Exactly.
I think he's going to keep this conversation going
And
all
TB12
the way
also.
until week 11 this year, and then he's going to. And if he doesn't come back week 11, he's officially can't come back. Why would you stop the conversation if you're him?
You got to keep your name in the news. If he's not playing football, he's
God, you
hoping
guys
to
are
get
so
on a
naive.
lousy game show.
We've
I think
already
you're
been
naive.
told. I'm so hot. You can't touch me right
Oh,
now.
no, he's cooling off. He's cooling
I'm
off.
not cooling off. There's nothing cool off about me. Everything I say happens. Oh, my God. Has there been any reason to think that he's not coming back?
Yeah, the training camp hasn't started where they all start to beat the crap out of each other.
And he looks like
every
he's
day.
lost 30 pounds.
He hasn't
He's lost like 20
attended training camp in years.
He will not be in training camp. I guarantee
Well, of course
you
he's
that.
not going to be training camp.
Look, I think it's seriously, I think it's 50-50 that he comes back before week 11. I give you that. I think it's
50-50, that's pretty good, right? That's a coin toss.
I'd go more than 80-20 that he's not before 11.
But I don't think this little drama that they unfolded in LA has anything to do whether he's coming back.
That's
or not.
more for selling shirts
Totally,
and sneakers and everything
Irrelevant.
else. All the TB12 method.
Yeah.
All right, boys, did you guys watch the home run derby?
I watched some of it, yeah.
No, only with a gun at my head.
All of a sudden, the fact is that the All-Star game and the home run derby, that's the thing that baseball does the best out of any. It's better than any novelty act that any other leagues got going, right?
Oh, I mean, the Major League Baseball All-Star game is the only thing that even looks like a game that's played during the course of a year.
Yeah.
NBA, NHL, and NFL, those are not football games, hockey games.
NFL's a joke. They had pretty much admitted now, right? They played in a parking lot in Orlando.
Yeah.
In
It's
Disneyland,
one
right?
step away from flag football.
The NBA All-Star game is a layup drill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In NHL, I think are they still playing like the Russians versus the Americans or something?
No,
don't
but it's
even know.
like 20-18.
Yeah,
No
it's like,
check.
I don't even know what that is.
It's territorial, right?
Yeah.
Val Kilmer is on one team.
Oh no! They pick
another.
They pick like a playground style.
Baseball All-Star game looks like there's a lot more players shuffling it up. It's baseball is a 4-3 game.
Yeah,
It's a good game.
But that home run
That was
derby
bananas.
actually captivated me
That
for
was bananas.
2 hours. And I don't usually like these contrived, like
That's
American.
a legitimate thing. We all played home run derby growing up.
But
right?
how now? I'm watching the All-Star game last night. I don't know half the guys. These guys aren't stars.
No, but some of these are rising stars.
Yeah, but
Vlad
they're not stars
Alonso
right now.
and stuff.
You would be
Oh,
the happiest
Vlad Guerrero
man alive to have
Jr..
Vlad Guerrero Jr. on the Red Sox.
Oh, my-
How you would not be able to stop talking about
Whose
it.
ass is bigger, Guerrero's or
Yabusele's?
Yabusele's? It's close. All right, that's our show for tonight. Want to thank, of course, the boys. Thank everyone behind the scenes. Handsome Todd, and Handsome Todd brought his lovely girlfriend, and Noah. We have to thank him. We have to also thank Eugene.
Yep, Eugene's behind
Russ's friend
the
for
glass
coming,
right,
here.
yep.
Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in on Friday night on Dirty Water Friday night, coming to you live from the greatest bar in Boston, Massachusetts, the Grandstanders at 9 o'clock. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
Here comes the circus.